Have you ever been at a social gathering or an event, only to notice someone who happens to be married seems to be constantly pulling you into their orbit? It could be an innocent conversation, but there's something in the air, an unspoken tension you can't shake off. She smiles a little too warmly, her eyes lock on yours a moment too long, and you begin to wonder, is she just being friendly, or is there something more at play here? It's not an easy question to answer, and for many, it's one that can leave them feeling uncomfortable and unsure. You might even find yourself second-guessing the situation, and sure if you're misreading the signs. But here's the truth. This kind of interaction isn't all in your head. There are real, observable psychological triggers at work here, signals that, when put together, suggest a deeper layer of attraction. Married or not, human behavior is driven by psychological cues. And spotting these signs can be the key to understanding if there's an unspoken connection forming between you and a married woman. In today's video, we'll break down 4 undeniable signs that could mean she's secretly attracted to you. Trust me, once you recognize these signs, you'll see your interactions in a whole new light. But a word of caution, recognizing them is one thing. Knowing how to respond is another. Attraction in this context can get complicated. That's why it's important to approach the situation with care and respect.
The first sign, the power of eye contact. It was a typical evening at a party. Jack, a good friend of mine, was at a mutual friend's housewarming celebration. Among the guests was Sarah, a woman who, as Jack later learned, was married. Jack was in the middle of a conversation with a small group of people when he felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. He glanced across the room, and there she was, Sarah, her gaze fixed squarely on him. But it wasn't the casual glance one might expect at a crowded party. No, her eyes seemed to lock on his with an intensity that was unmistakable. For a moment, the room around him seemed to fade away. It felt like there was a direct connection between them, one that went beyond simple eye contact. What was even more puzzling was how, every time Jack tried to look away, he found himself inexplicably drawn back to her eyes. Now, why does this matter? Well, in the world of psychology, eye contact is one of the strongest indicators of attraction. It's one of those subtle but powerful cues that can tell you a lot about what someone is feeling. A person who is genuinely interested in another will hold their gaze for a little longer than usual, often as a way to show attentiveness and interest. For a married woman, it's particularly telling. If she's holding eye contact with you longer than necessary, it's not just a sign of politeness, it's likely a signal of something deeper. She's trying to establish a connection, but it doesn't stop there. The intensity of her gaze is even more revealing. When someone is locked in on you with such focus, it indicates emotional engagement. It's as if her brain is signaling to hers and your subconscious mind, I'm here, and I'm truly interested in what you have to say. Jack couldn't ignore the feeling that was building up between him and Sarah. And while the rational part of his brain tried to dismiss it as nothing more than an innocent exchange, the intensity in her eyes was telling a different story.
The second sign, the subtle approach of physical proximity. As the evening wore on, Jack couldn't help but notice something curious. Every time the group he was talking to shifted or changed direction, Sarah seemed to effortlessly find a way to position herself near him. It wasn't obvious at first, but as the night went on, the pattern became clear. Whether it was during a casual group discussion or when the group moved to a new part of the room, Sarah seemed to always gravitate toward him. In one instance, when Jack was speaking to another guest, he looked up to find Sarah standing just a few feet away. Her body turned slightly toward him, as if she was waiting for an opportunity to jump into the conversation. Why is this significant? In the realm of body language and psychology, proximity is a clear sign of attraction. When someone is subconsciously drawn to be near you, it's often an indication that they're interested in you, whether they're aware of it or not. For a married woman, this is a subtle but powerful indicator that she's trying to spend more time with you. The key here is not just being physically close, it's how she positions herself in relation to you. If she's making an effort to stay near you or find reasons to join your group conversations, it's likely a sign that she's attracted to you. It's not just random chance. Her body is signaling her interest through her proximity. It's as if she's trying to find any excuse to be around you, all while remaining under the radar of others. Jack, although aware of the situation, couldn't ignore the constant pull he felt in Sarah's presence. Every time their eyes met, she seemed to drift a little closer. This wasn't a coincidence. Her body language was clearly showing signs of attraction, no matter how subtly she was trying to mask it. The third sign, the laughter that isn't quite right. As the night continued, Jack found himself telling a few jokes in the group, as he often did. He wasn't expecting them to be anything groundbreaking, just light-hearted quips to keep the conversation flowing, but then, he heard it, Sarah's laughter. It was a little too loud, a little too frequent, and definitely a little too enthusiastic. Even when the joke wasn't especially funny, Sarah's laughter felt exaggerated. At first, Jack thought maybe he was just imagining things. But as the evening wore on, he started to realize that it wasn't just the jokes that were making her laugh, it was the attention he was giving her. Her laughter wasn't about the humor. It was about the connection. In psychology, laughter is often used as a tool to bond with others. But when someone laughs a little too much, especially at things that aren't all that funny, it's a sign that they might be trying to create a stronger connection with the person they're laughing at. For a married woman, this could be a way of signaling her attraction without overtly saying anything. Laughter has long been seen as a social bonding mechanism, and in this context, Sarah's laughter was more than just a response to a joke. It was a way to subtly communicate her feelings. By laughing at his jokes, even the ones that weren't particularly funny, she was reinforcing her desire to be close to him. For Jack, it felt like a clear message. She was interested in him, not because of what he was saying, but because of the attention she was receiving. And that attention was exactly what she wanted. Psychologically, she was showing Jack that she appreciated his company and was trying to make him feel special. The fourth sign, sharing personal details. Later that evening, Jack and Sarah found themselves in a quieter corner of the room, engaging in a more intimate conversation. She started telling him personal stories, revealing details about her life that weren't just casual or superficial. She spoke about her childhood, her hopes, and even her frustrations. She was opening up in a way that was rare for someone she had just met. Why does this matter? Personal disclosure is a huge sign of trust, and when someone shares intimate details about their life, it's a sign that they feel comfortable with you and possibly that they trust you with parts of themselves they don't typically reveal to others. For a married woman, this is a particularly significant gesture. When a woman starts to share personal stories with someone outside her marriage, it could be an indication that she's emotionally connecting with them in a way she might not even realize. The more she shares, the deeper the connection becomes. For Jack, it was a revelation. He was being allowed into a personal space that few others had access to. And that in itself was both a privilege and a sign of something more. Her willingness to share these personal details was a subtle, but undeniable indication that she was forming a deeper bond with him. This wasn't just small talk. This was emotional intimacy, and Jack, despite being aware of the complexity of the situation, couldn't help but feel that the connection was growing stronger between them. Psychologically, her openness to him meant that she trusted him and felt safe around him. Whether she was fully aware of it or not, she was sending a signal: trust you more than I should. Remember, respect and boundaries are key in these situations. It's easy to get caught up in the emotional tension and signals being exchanged. But as we wrap up, let's remember the most crucial point. While recognizing these signs of attraction is important, respecting boundaries is non-negotiable. It's essential to approach any relationship, especially one involving a married person, with clarity and integrity. If you notice these signs, it's important to be mindful of the fact that she's still married, and acting on these signals can lead to complications for everyone involved. Always communicate openly and respectfully, keeping in mind that emotional connections can be powerful, but can also cause harm if mismanaged. If you find yourself in a situation where these signs are becoming clearer, take a step back, assess your feelings, and make sure you're acting in a way that aligns with your values. Attraction can be a tricky thing to navigate, but by maintaining respect and clear boundaries, you ensure that everyone's well-being is prioritized. So, what do you think? Have you ever noticed these subtle signs of attraction, whether from someone married or otherwise? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found these psychological insights helpful, and subscribe for more content that explores the hidden cues in human behavior. Until next time, stay aware and keep those boundaries in mind.